Hello and welcome to this webinar. I am Silky Bhushan, the CEO of DMIOA, and today for this entire DMIOA webinar series, this season our guest is Sangeeta Kumar, VP of GMR Web Team and also the Chief Content Officer for DMIOA. Sangeeta, welcome. Tell me, is it difficult to straddle two roles?
Not really. One of the things that I love about digital marketing is that it is always evolving. Each time with a new technology or platform, you have to work together with your team, train them to actually excel in it. I love doing it, and through the DMIOA platform, I can actually reach out to more people.
Great. So today's webinar is about voice search. It is the latest digital marketing fad.
Um, the ease of talking into a device instead of typing it is revolutionizing online behavior. Using voice search or digital personal assistants is becoming a norm or a second nature as they are integrated into products that we use daily. What we have to find out as SEOs is how such devices impact SEO behavior. We know it helps us get tasks done more quickly every day. For example, it is common for us to use voice search in our cars when we are using the GPS. It is also common for us to text while driving to let someone know that we are running late. Or if you are a Windows user at office, you can use Cortana to add an appointment to your calendar. At home, without reaching for the remote, you can speak into your Xbox to navigate between your favorite sports channel and Netflix. And while watching a movie on Netflix, you can actually ask Eco to add ice cream to your Amazon Fresh shopping cart because you're almost out. I am sure you're wondering, where does this behavior have anything to do with SEO? It sure does. This behavior is making people increasingly comfortable with voice technology. It is impacting search terms. So today we are going to through how voice search will impact search behavior and what techniques we should use to be SEO relevant.
We do know about a lot of devices that work on voice inputs, but how exactly is do you define voice search and how is it impacting SEO?
Voice search is speech recognition technology that allows users to perform a search action using voice command. This technology is integrated with a platform or device. From an SEO point of view, most marketers overlook the fact that voice search has the ability to respond with voice. As SEO, our objective is to rank for that voice search. Some of the top devices that use voice search are the Google Home, Amazon Echo or Alexa, Google Assistants, Siri or the iPhone, Android phones, tablets like iPads, Android tablets, and Microsoft Cortana. How these devices are used and how can we as marketeers leverage their use to market our products or services. Voice search activated technologies of four types. The first type is that of mobile assistants, where the popular devices are Siri and OK Google, and they have the capability to make web search, phone calls, dictate text, and even give and find directions. The next category is that of virtual assistants, and there are currently over 2 million virtual assistance devices in this world. This category of devices has revolutionized the way we act online and behave online, and it is also revolutionizing the way we interact with devices. They have the capability to give out quick facts like who, why, where. They tell you the weather, they tell you the traffic details. They can make lists for you and interact with they control your home by interacting with devices. They play your favorite music, they can read out your books. So they have a lot of capabilities. The next voice activated technology is that of browser assistants, where there's Google, Cortana series, and they just have a limited ability that you can do web search with. And finally, the voice activated technology from where it all began are those gaming devices, the Roku, Xbox, Amazon Fire Stick. They can flick between your media, they can find shows of your interest based on your preferences. They can set timers, and you can also set your preferences like what you would like to see. Microsoft has integrated Cortana into Windows 10 to power both text, voice search on all devices from your PC to phone to Xbox One. So, with that kind of integration, you can do a lot of activities. Having Amazon Echo at home is like having a Star Trek computer available at the command of your voice, ready to answer your questions, play your music, audiobooks, and even control other devices in your home through smart home connected technology. These devices are powered by data gathered across platforms and the Internet of Things, and they are no longer solely tethered to mobile devices and applications. So, one in four shoppers this year used voice assistants in their holiday shopping. This is according to the CTA via HubSpot. And that is why voice search would matter to your SEO. You are probably thinking or not feeling the effects of voice, assuming you are doing pretty well as an SEO specialist. But expect voice search to disrupt your industry once it kicks into full gear, and the voice recognition market offers products and services that will phase out the old search practices. It is common practice for us SEO people to optimize for keywords with the highest monthly search volume, regardless of how keywords are constructed as a whole. And there is also a healthy obsession with link building, which is considered by many as a crucial ranking factor. Voice search is going to change all. It has increased from, 35, it has increased to 35 times in 2013 and is now at 48 times compared to 2008 levels. So we cannot ignore that kind of data. 56% of online grocery shoppers plan to use voice controlled assistant marketing. How there, as an SEO, can you be there when they are searching for you? This is what we are trying to attain when we want to understand how voice search operates.
Has voice search always been like this? Recently, I read an article of 2016 Jan that said we should not worry about voice search.
There are some terms, precursors actually associated with voice search. The Hummingbird update by Google focused on semantic search. Semantic search seeks to improve search accuracy by understanding the searcher's intent and the contextual meaning of terms as they appear in searchable database. It can be within the web or it can be on a closed system. But the objective is to attain or generate more relevant results. Google changed its algorithm and the way it processed information, and then its results became more accurate. Then came natural language processing. Natural language processing is a branch of artificial intelligence that helps computers understand and interpret, manipulate human language. NLP draws from many disciplines, including computer science, computational linguistics, in its pursuit to fill the gap between human communication and computers. With the use of AI, Google seems to have mastered it, and the errors are down to 8% from the earlier 36%.
Wow, that's great improvement. So, as a SEO specialist, how do we tackle it?
Well, that's a great question. As SEO specialists, we all are aware or have heard of LSI or latent semantic indexing. To understand LSI, you want to start by taking a closer look at search engines and how they operate. At a very basic level, sites like Google use complex algorithms to understand two things: your content and its context, a user's search intent, and its relationship with specific keywords. In other words, LSI helps search engines identify related words and process synonyms to deliver more accurate results. To rank for voice search or any other search, we have to use LSI as a part of technique. In the voice search, there's a coveted feature or ranking feature. Instead of returning thousands of pages of the bat, Google handpicks a content that answers the question posed by the keyword to be prominently featured in the top results. This placement is also known as position zero or featured snippets and changes the way how people approach question based keywords, which is mostly what users ask on voice search. While Google search continues to prevail regarding the usage, Google Voice Search is gaining steam. According to Sundar Pichai in his Google Input Output keynote last year, 20% of mobile queries are voice searches. Comscore predicts that 50% of all search queries will be done through voice. And as voice search grows, so does the voice recognition industry, with an estimated $600 million market by 2019, as reported by TechNevio. And voice search is a shift in behavior. We always talk and write differently. Longer conversational sentences will soon become a norm. Content is now an integral part. And though Google has not got its context right, it is improving with each update. For instance, on my browser, when I say find red designer shoes on sale, natural language processing completes the sentence. As a matter of interest, I decided to check, you know, test Google from some LSI. I asked Google, what kind of shoes should a woman wear at a cocktail party? I next asked women for red designer shoes. And lo and behold, all of the results that came were of women's shoes. So Google is trying or using my history to show me context results. And I have not shown this here. I want you to do this experiment by yourself. If Google is so smart, you have to up your game and keep up with it. As SEOs, we are always intrigued by keywords and categories. What are people on voice search searching for? In a research conducted by eMarketer, people use their voice search devices for the following category. It topped by ordering food, then for purchasing electronics, clothing, groceries. In fact, the B2C section is full of people ordering goods and retails using voice search. There is no doubt that voice enabled devices connect with the IoT. We will see more searches and, of course, need to be more prepared.
This is very relevant information. How can we prepare for it?
Well, the first technique that you can do is to work on your markup language. Add structured data or schema markup. Make sure structured data is integrated into the backend of your website. Structured data within your website becomes more important because it is one of the signals used to power search results and the cards or direct answers. Using structured data and schema markup can help search engines understand, crawl your data more efficiently, and become a part of the available knowledge graphs. In fact, here is a video snippet from a Google Hangout regarding voice search and schema markup.
Hello, John. I appreciate everything what you do for all community for last year and for all years. And I just want to say thank you for everything because this is very much for us, very important everything. My question is about the voice search because I see the data is very important. I see Crow is everything is very important with the voice. This is the future. But the most important thing here is I see my daughter, 6 years old. She only search with voice. This is the next generation. And my question is, what do you think for some recommendation for everybody in the SEO community for technical voice integration or for content strategy like semantic? What is more important or combination of both of them?
What is most important for voice? I think that's really complicated because from Google's side, what we try to do is to understand your pages best and to figure out which type of voice queries match those pages. So that's something that you can help us with using structured data on the pages. If you tell us a bit more about what this page is about. Something you can perhaps also tell us if you have kind of like information that could be combined into a voice snippet. That might be useful for some kinds of content that doesn't make sense. That's not possible. If you have a question, then the answer is this big thing or a table or a list of links. That's not something that really works with voice. But those are kind of, I think, the general directions where we try to figure out what content fits well for voice. I know for some other kinds of voice assistants, they try to match the question more directly. So they're looking for maybe web pages that say, I don't know, what is the tallest mountain as a title, and then they read the first paragraph. I think for Google, that's probably overdoing it and quickly ends up in a situation where you basically create a doorway site with like all of these question variations and like a short piece of answer, and the pages themselves have really low value because they don't have a lot of information. They're just targeted for this one specific query, and that's something. So from that point of view, I think that's very short-sighted if you were to go in that direction. So I really kind of focus more on trying to make it so that Google and other search engines can understand the context of the information a lot better, and to make sure that your content is written in a way that can be read aloud, which I think is a general guidance anyway. So like the old school kind of keyword stuffing, if you read it out loud, it doesn't make that much sense. It sounds really unnatural, but if you write naturally and you write in a clear kind of language that's consistent across your website, across the type of queries you want to target, then that's the type of information that we could pick up for voice as well. I think the other thing that just recently happened is we sent out an email for a bunch of voice actions where we noticed that I think podcasts and news content in particular are things that tend to be used a lot with voice assistant. I don't have the details there, but that might be something if you do have podcast content or news content that you have available in AMP format or whatever format, that might be something to look into as well. Either maybe you receive this email directly where you can verify your profile, or maybe that's something where someone else has already written a blog post about the details on what is happening there. But I think this is a topic that isn't going to go away, but it's also a topic where it's still very early days, where we don't have like a simple meta tag that you just put on your pages and everything works for a search. There's still a lot of work to be kind of put in from our side, from the ecosystem in general, from users, like what do they expect from search? How do they expect search to work on voice? All of that needs to be figured out. The other thing, if you're technical, if you like dabbling with programming, you can also look into the voice assistant things where I think from Google, from Amazon, there are a lot of really detailed examples and kind of APIs that you can use to create a kind of a voice assistant type thing, where I think it's probably also still very early days, but it's something where if you think about this for a little bit, then maybe you'll run across a client at some point where you see, oh, the voice assistant would be the perfect complement for their service. And then in that case, that might be something that you could put together. There are a lot of really neat services that make this a lot easier. It's still pretty hard and kind of complicated to get set up, but it's something where I think when you run across the right situation, maybe you find something that's like a perfect match, and that's something to kind of have in your repertoire as something that's available.
Okay, thank you.
Sangeeta, if I may interrupt you here, a question from an audience. The question is, you have been talking about shift in behavior. Do you have any data to prove it?
Yeah, in fact, I was coming to it in the next technique. According to data compiled by Purnaveja on searches on Cortana, this was what is trending. The number of words spoken in a voice search have increased. The average is now more to 3 to 4 keywords compared to the 1 to 3 keywords. So does this mean that we should focus on long tail keyword? Well, the answer is both yes and no. According to a survey conducted, this was the volume of questions, phrases broken up. So how does your content now deal with the phrases that answer these kind of questions about your product or service? So don't make a mistake of equating voice search optimization to using long-tailed keywords in your content. Voice search is more likely to contain question phrases. Keyword research tools won't find out that people speak using, mobile assistants. So use this list of websites to find out what people are asking for online. These are natural language phrases. They are full of insights. You can get an idea of consumer mindset and tie it back to your marketing funnel. You can interpret a user's intent based on the kind of questions that they ask. The what and who questions signal that a user is in research phase, and if they are, of course, asking where questions, they are almost ready to buy. The next technique is based on the fact that 21% of people don't like typing on their mobile phones and therefore they search to voice search. So if you want to be found, then your mobile compatibility has to be at the tops. Remember, Google recently gave notifications of sites that were not mobile compatible. And before that, Google has also introduced the AMPs or the accelerated mobile pages. So Google has a point and is trying always to enhance Google experience.
Here I have to ask this question, Sangeeta. Why are we always talking about Google when talking about voice search?
That's a good question, actually. When we talk about voice search and as SEOs, we generally are talking about the use of Android phones that are in the increase and using of Google as a voice search. It's always there in the background. There are more Android users than iOS users, and Android is becoming more powerful in the US too. It's because the pricing has worked like a charm for the Android phones. There are very cheap versions of the phone and there are very high end versions of the Android phone. And voice search works same on all phones. So as the market share of Google is increasing, we start to focus more on Google as a voice search tool. And as Google results do come, and as SEOs, since we are very much, bothered and involved with Google, voice search and Google does become synonymous for us, and we do focus a lot on Google when we are talking about voice search. And here is the link that coming back to the, techniques. Here is the link where you can find out if your website is mobile friendly or not. Another technique is that you can work on the page speed because people expect voice search to be faster.
The result of voice queries are also faster. We speak faster than we write and therefore expect voice result to be instantaneous.
Yeah, and to see that your mobile site is up to date, use these links to find out how you can optimize your website for page loading or for page speed. What is good about this site is that it gives you tips or tells you exactly how you can improve it, and then you can send the details to your developer. The Internet Trends Report 2016 found that 22% of people use voice search for finding local information. It makes sense because people use mobile phones on the go. Mobile voice related searches are 3 times more likely to be local based than text. Google disclosed that near me searches have grown by more than 130% year over year. People extensively use the search query for things to do near me. Needless to say, this is a mobile driven phenomena. Voice search makes this near me searches faster and easier for use. So, how can you leverage this characteristic? Did you know that 50% of local mobile searches by a consumer lead to a store visit during the day? Given that users have local intent when searching for their mobiles, you need to get the keywords right. You can gain more business by carefully incorporating the following keywords into your SEO strategy. The phrases people use to describe the neighborhood around your location, near me in your title tags, meta description, internal links and anchor text, landmarks around your business location, the titles of institutions that are relevant to your business, claim your local listing and optimize it, create an experience so that people leave reviews. Because once when you are up there in the listings, people are going to click you or visit you only because they see the number of stars or the reviews, especially if it's a local search.
This is very informative. As I see it, there are 5 ways we can work to optimize our website. For voice search and coveted position, zero result. Let me recap of the technique for the benefit of our listener. They are add schema markup, research on relevant questions regarding your product or services, and answer them in conversational language, work on loading speed, optimize for local research, and once we do these, we can expect to rank for voice search. Are there any other tools that we can use?
Google recently sent notifications to US podcast recipe and news publishers who have invested in either AMP or structured data markup. The company has developed Google Assistant actions specifically for these content types, so we can, look for further actions. Users can ask Assistant to return content from such publishers. In order to make this type of content more discoverable, Google has auto-generated directory pages with the various actions that are associated with finding content from a specific site. These are the commands that can be used within Google Assistant to find content from your site. With the appropriate structured data or AMP markup, content will already be optimized for Google Assistant, and technically there's nothing more that a site owner needs to do. But there is, of course, one step that you can take if you want to customize your Actions directory. Google Search Console notifications prompt the site owner to claim their Actions directory page. Claiming the directory page will allow the site owners to edit it, unpublish it, or if they don't want their content to be found by Google Assistants, to remove it. After claiming the directory page, a publisher will be able to edit their name, description, logo according to how they want it to be surfaced by Google Assistants. And if the directory page goes unclaimed, the auto-generated version will still exist and the actions can still be used by the Google Assistants. So it is better to claim the page and make it yours. Other than that, you should use the techniques described and run a PPC campaign to test your website against the voice ROI. In the references section, you should check out the first article by Poorna Vija. She has experimented a lot with voice search. Now, in summary, in the future, according to Alex Common, the chief officer at Amaze, the most commercially interesting change that we expect is the arrival of proactive recommendations based on previous behavior and shopping history. This voice equivalent of one-click commerce will force changes in Google, Apple, and Facebook business models as they run up to keep up with Amazon's capability for Prime subscribers who use Alexa. So in the future, in voice search, there is going to be a competition between Amazon's Alexa and other devices, Google, Apple, and Facebook. Let's see the outcome. But for now, voice search is not a fad. It has comfortably crossed the threshold of early adopters. It has gained mileage because it is more convenient for a user to speak with an assistant than type. And here are a few stats to prove that voice search is here to stay. Voice Labs found that there were total 33 million voice first devices in circulation. In a survey of SEO trends for 2017 and beyond, voice search stood at third spot. In his keynote, Google's Sundar Pichai, CEO, announced that one-fifth of queries on Google are voice searches. Teenage are the savvy users of voice search, but Thrive Analytics found that people of all age groups use mobile personal assistants. And when and where are these people using voice search? Well, they use it on the go, with their friends, even in the bathroom or the office. With the use of digital assistants and the integration with IoT, optimizing for voice search is critical for your SEO success. And here in this webinar, I have laid down the path and told you the techniques on how to improve your voice search.
Thank you so much for your time, Sangeeta. I personally have learned lots